Nice. So once you choose your other move, Frank, we'll go ahead and there's still some stuff you need to do just on the backstory side, these various questions and stuff, but you can do that as we're starting up. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on Craig. If you want to be a bloodbender, just remember bloodbending's illegal, and you're an evil man. Not not technically. Craig will think you're a bad guy if you're a bloodbender. Craig, who is the next avatar. No. Craig, the next avatar. He's always recording stuff. He's actually a scribe or a historian. What is someone who writes down history in the present? Yeah. Craig the scribe, the next avatar. What is the next avatar? The next avatar would be the Earth avatar. Yeah. We'll do it then. Did you pick combustion? The combustion one? Nice. So you can do lightning. What I never got is why didn't Combustion Man use his regular fire bending sometimes? Like, there had to be moments where that was more useful. He's just all about his. Yeah. Uh huh. Yes. You could, yes. And bloodbending can also be used for good. Just people think it's bad. Just like necromancers aren't all evil. Necromancers can bring your friends back to life as zombies, but they're still back. Necromancers can create intelligence undead at high levels. You know, that they can. Right, because of the full moon stuff, yeah. So bloodbending is hard to use. I don't know, it seems like every other episode in Avatar it's a full moon. I wonder how many moons are in the Avatar world. Well, we know that one of the moons is a chick um who gave her life to save a fish. Yeah, it sounds like bloodbending is hard to use. Um, but when you do get to use it, it's powerful. What? Hayden, you're breaking up. Yeah. Is yay. What were you asking about Frank's thing? Mark? It looks like a bad copy paste. Oh, Mark fatigue. Oh, it's because I he just copy pasted it from the crappy copy paste job that I did, and I didn't bother to format it because whenever you copy paste from a PDF, it's in whatever formatting the PDF is in, which has a bunch of extra returns because it's in columns. But it should say Mark fatigue. Well, that is what it says, but mark fatigue to heal an ally who is evading and observing. Clear an appropriate status from them, and then clear 3 fatigue. or 2 conditions. Damn, you can heal a lot. What is this stream? What is stream the water? It's on both of these. Oh wait, you just did that twice. Is stream the water the next move? Yeah, I think that's the next move. Yeah. You can also choose a non-water bending technique if there's one of the universal ones you like. Okay. So I was reading some like just fan theories on like advanced bending, and it was like because firebenders can bend lightning, theoretically they could also bend the electrical currents in your body, and much like blood bending, control your body, or it'd be a lot harder, or at the very least, yeah, at the very least do something like that. And of course, people have already pointed out, look, Magneto could pull iron out of people's bodies, so an earthbender should be able to control people with iron. There's just not enough iron in your body to control the whole body. That's the only reason water benders can do it, because we're 90% water or whatever. Um, I could argue that an earthbender could probably manipulate plants to a degree, much like a waterbender, but probably not as well as a waterbender, because again, there's more water than earth in the plant. Sounds useful. You'll be a healer slash controller, or whatever they call the, yeah. Oh, I need to create a document for like Avatar Session 1 or something. I guess it's technically Session 2. Stuff I've made. What? Oh. Where is my Avatar PDF? There it is. No, I'm not going to restart my computer, you piece of crap. Are you serious? You're not going to let me open Adobe unless I restart? Because stupid update. Hell, hey, I don't need to. The Avatar app was already open. So I don't know why it's telling me that anyway. Okay. Now, why did I need to look at this? I don't remember. But that needs to go on my other screen. Go over there. Sounds like a good move, so. And then on the left side of your character sheet, you've got your RP stuff under Never Turn My Back. You've got your Code of Honor. And then I guess you got some allies. You can always. Oh, you gain allies, I think, later. Wait, how does the allies work? How many allies do you start with? All right, you got your two moves. Um, trying to figure out what this allies thing is real quick. What's your playbook called? You are the idealist. Let me find the idealist in here. The idealist. Right. Oh, you don't have allies yet. Those come in play when you live up to your ideals. So the only thing else that you should choose right now is well, you've got, yeah, you need to choose your code, which is under never turn your back. Should just click 3 of those, and then under history there's the history questions, um, which you kind of have a backstory, so those shouldn't be hard to make up. All right, while you're doing your stuff, I guess let me start with our intro. Yeah, never turn. Well, yeah, under that is your code. Okay, you did that. You won't have any allies yet. Those come into play, I think. Uh, when you live up to your ideals at a significant cost, someone who witnessed or hears about it approaches you to affirm their allegiance to your group's purpose. Write their name down on the list of allies. So whenever you live up to one of your codes at significant cost, you gain, basically an ally is going to appear and be like, "Yo, I heard about how you uh, uh, always speak the truth, and I'm all about that." Yeah, and then if you scroll down further, there's your history questions, and then as a group, we're supposed to answer the connections questions, but the whole group is not here. So I guess we'll do those next time. Um, all right, now for me to be horribly unprepared to play this game. I mean, I vaguely know how to play it, but obviously I've not yet done it. So, um, and I didn't write myself an intro thing like I usually do. All right, so I guess I'm going to start. Um, hold on. Haley, shut up! Hang on, I need to go smack my dog. I'll have to delete. I'll have to delete that from the recording. Haley, shut up. There was there was two cats playing in the driveway. Frank went to go get tea. All right. I need to come up with an intro real quick. I'm just typing something real quick. Okay. Um, Hello, everybody. Welcome to uh, Houston. Nope, not Tuesday After Dark. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Integrated Dice Management presents. This time we're playing Avatar Legends. I am Ron, your uh, whatever they call me in this game. We'll just say Dungeon Master for now. Um, your spirit guide. Um, And with me tonight, we have Hayden. Uh, After Hayden, we've got Bill. And then we have Frank. And then if you've listened to us before, you'll notice that our fourth player is not here. Frank is not the hammer. You're playing the idealist. Um, yeah, and then our fourth player, Jaden, is not here tonight. Um, If you've listened to us before, you know that he is a sleepy boy and he's already fallen asleep. So we'll see if he joins us in the future. Um, Jaden is playing an older character anyway, and it might not be hanging out with the teens here. Everybody is high school age for this game, and we're going to have some Avatar adventures. So pause for a second and then begin Avatar intro. Water, earth, fire, and air. The four nations have had a rough time of it over the past couple centuries. But with the help of the avatars Aang and Korra, the world is entering a new age of peace and prosperity, and a new group of heroes are just coming of age. The scene opens on a large group of uh, teenagers and parents and everything, and all the teenagers are dressed in what color is Republic City? Green? Republic City, everyone wears green, right? I think that's their colors. So everyone's wearing green gowns, but their hats are the color of whatever nation they're originally from. Um, and if they are born in Republic City, which I don't think any of us are, then I don't know, they're wearing a silver hat. Uh, and there's like a graduation hat, um, a cap, whatever. I know it's a graduation gown. It's not a robe, it's a gown, okay? Um, and then a cap. Yes. Yeah. It is a cap and gown, you're right. Yeah. Um, there's some very boring music playing that goes something like ba 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 ba. Um, yes. And thank you to our Republic City High band. um, on stage is the Avatar herself, Korra, passing out uh, diplomas to all those who have graduated from Republic High. Republic High, yeah. Um, and yes, that's the name of the high school that all of you attended, um, and are now graduating from. Uh, and yes, or are you graduating? That's well, hopefully you are, because that if you're not, that kind of ruins the plan. Um, but were all of you on the JV bending team? Well, you're whatever you're graduating, so I don't remember what those things mean. But well then you'd be varsity. Oh. All right. So were all three of you on the team? Frank, were you on the team? Okay. Okay. Um, Bill, how do you say your character's name? Belong? Uh, belong, belong, you're standing in line. Well, belong, you're not all the way in the back of the line because somebody's last name starts with a Z. Nice. Okay. Belong, you're near the back of the line. And how's Belong feeling about this, about today? Bored? Well, it's still going to be a while, because they're only just now getting to the case. And Meko, you're about to be called. You're about to come face to face with the Avatar herself, who's like 75 years old now. Um, and how do you feel about the Avatar? What do you react to when it's your name is called and you have to go up and shake her hand and get your diploma? Meko, yes. Yeah, weren't. She laughs at that while like the other people up on stage are shocked and horrified, and the principal is like, "Oh, please forgive him. He's always been a bit of a troublemaker, that one there." And Cora's like, "It's fine, it's fine. I don't, you know, let's. Who's the next person?" And the next person comes up, and 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 Oh, Keko. All right. Yeah, is that canon now? Do you have a twin brother? Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it didn't. Um, there you go. Yeah. Now, Zeki, you're way back at the back of the line. You're literally the last person in line. Yeah, no other Z names. And what are you up to in the back of the line? Yeah. As the as a prodigy, are you like a valedictorian or something like that? Yeah. Right. Yeah. They're saving the best for last for sure. Um, and a while passes, and finally, it's up to you, Belong Zong. Yeah, they call you Belong Zong, and it's your turn to come face to face with Cora, who is honestly she's looking kind of bored. No, in alphabetical order, yeah. He's before. Zeki hasn't been called yet. I was just jumping to see what he was doing in the back of the line. Yeah. Uh, she's she says, "Oh wow. Well, I'll be keeping my eye on you. I've heard you're one of the top players, and if you remember, I used to be a pro bender myself back in the day, back in my youth. Well, always glad to meet a fan." And she hands you your thing, and then there's a couple more people. Do you do anything extra? Okay. Yeah, yeah. There's like what? Yeah. A few more names go by, and then finally, Zeki, it's your turn to go up face to face with the Avatar. Um, and yeah, the principal, well, no, the principal is excited because this is the top student. It's like, and he's like nudges the Avatar to like make her pay attention. It's like this is the one. And so she, refocuses herself, uh, and they call your name, and you start coming up onto stage, and you're about to meet face to face with the avatar. You're super excited about that, and then all of a sudden, a ball of fire explodes between the two of you, and both of you go flying back. And in typical Avatar TV show style, neither of you are actually hurt by this, but you're both thrown back from the explosion of the fireball. The principal goes flying off the stage into the crowd. The podium lights on fire. Your diploma probably gone. Uh, and uh, and the crowd turns to see a group of masked people charging into the arena. Another ball of flame is launched towards the stage. Some people draw swords, in this group that's attacking, and they're heading towards the stage. You can't really tell who their target is because there's multiple people on the stage, except for the principal who got blown off. Not in a good way either. Um, and the the giant sundial. They probably have many sundials by now. Um, so yes, they honestly probably in Republic City probably have watches, and maybe rich people in other areas have watches. The Well, yes, but yeah, Avatar tech is I know. Avatar tech is so back and forth because they still had like old-timey radios in their giant robot. Um, and their cars are not very advanced, but they have completely modern snowmobiles. Um, uh, and like regular looking motorcycles, but then like old-timey cars. Um, so it's just kind of whatever I feel like throwing at you. I'm gonna say he's got a wrist sundial. They haven't quite figured out the digital watch yet. Um, no, it's not. But this is an old-fashioned man. He's still using a sundial. Um, yeah, yeah, yes. So graduation is under attack. Um, there's a group of their fingers and their brain, I guess, and paper. Yeah. All right. So the way combat works is you can choose not to engage in combat, but then you can't do anything that affects the combat. If you do something that affects the combat, you have engaged in combat. If you're choosing to engage in combat, you are going to do what's called a stance move. Um, well, first you're going to choose one of three categories. You can defend and maneuver, you can advance and attack, or you can evade and observe. And so I'm going to say there's a group of 5 people charging the stage, um, just because I've got that many slots for an NPC some NPC stat blocks that I can use real quick. Um, we'll definitely get more into role playing and stuff. Tonight's about learning how to play. Um, so initiative is based on what you choose to do. So let me find the combat steps. So step 1, I choose approaches for the NPCs and keep them secret. So um, I'm gonna choose. Uh, Let me write down my NPCs real quick. Bam, bam, bam. And let's see, this guy will do. Okay, I've chosen my approaches. All right, so um, each player of a PC in the exchange chooses an approach for their character. So if you go on your character sheet, it should be just under where you chose your bending style. Um, the drop down tab that says combat techniques. Um, those are all the basic, I guess, combat techniques. There's three categories of them. So defend and maneuver, advance and attack, or evade and observe. And then under each of those drop downs um, are the different. Every one of them will have the thing called stance move, but then there's also the different things you can do in those categories. So if you choose to defend and maneuver, you can retaliate, steel yourself for blows each time a foe inflicts fatigue, a condition, or shifts your balance. You inflict one back on them. You can ready yourself. Mark one fatigue to ready yourself or your environment, assigning or clearing a fictionally appropriate status of nearby characters or yourself. So there's different statuses, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Seize a position, um, move to a new location, engage or disengage with a foe, or overcome a negative status or danger. Um, or establish an advantageous position. You can do a lot of things with them, or escape the scene, run away. Any foe engaged with you can mark one fatigue to block this technique. Under each one, there will also be stuff for specific classes. So the Prodigy also has a special thing that only the Prodigy can do for defend. Under attack, the basic moves are strike, strike a foe, dealing 2 damage, forcing them to mark 2 fatigue, mark a condition, or shift their balance. You can mark 1 fatigue to yourself to choose to hammer them with your blows, forcing them to mark 2 fatigue or strike where they're weak. There's pressure, which you can use basically to intimidate. I'm going to just go faster now. There's smash, which you can use to destroy something in the area, um, possibly inflicting a status position. And then under evade, there's test balance, mark one fatigue to challenge an engaged foe's balance. Ask what their principle is. They must answer honestly. If you already know, which none of you would know, instead shift their balance. Bolster or hinder lets you aid or impede a character. And then commit, recenter yourself, shift your balance towards one of your principles. The next time you live up to your principle, don't mark fatigue. Um, so those are the different basic things you can do in combat. Your class may have a special thing, and then there's also your techniques you chose, which can also be used during certain times. Um, so for Meko, I don't remember which one you are. Meko is Frank. Um, your refresh can be used under the evade and observe category. Both of your things are under the evade and observe category. Hayden, yours, let's see, your two things, evade and observe, advance and attack, and you have one for each. And then Bill, that's your 3 techniques you chose. Yeah. And then yeah, unfortunately, the techniques are like you have to scroll down. The techniques you chose, you have to scroll down to find those. Bill, yours, one of them's evade and observe, and one of them's advance and attack. So the first thing you do is choose the category that you're going to do in defend, advance and attack, or evade and observe, and announce that. So, what categories do you want to do? Okay. Okay. And Frank? All right. Okay, so text message. Let me check that real quick. All right, so I now reveal what the NPCs are going to do. The NPCs, most of them are advancing and attacking. One of them's defending. One of them's evading. Um, the one that looks like the leader is evading. Um, and so all combatants who chose defend and maneuver will go first. Players go before NPCs. So Hayden, you're defending and maneuvering. So you can choose a defense and maneuver technique. So that means you can, yes. All right. So, oh, actually, first thing you have to do is do the stance move. So up there under combat techniques, roll that dice thing. Yeah. They're all the same. I just put the stance move in each one. The stance move is always the same though. Oh, it's asking you for a stat. Oh, defend with is with focus. No. So a hit. So on a 7 to 9, you can use one basic or mastered technique. Um, on a 10 plus, oh, you didn't get a 10 plus. So that means you can choose any of the techniques up there at the top, the basic techniques up there at the top under defend and maneuver, including you're the prodigy, so including steady stance. Is your firewall mastered or learned? So you won't be able to do your firewall this turn. It's you're too surprised by all of this. Okay, you didn't roll high enough. But you can choose one of the things under defend and maneuver up top. What does that do? Assume a strong, steady stance. Any foes engaged with you who choose to advance and attack this exchange must mark 1 fatigue. Negate the first condition or negative status inflicted on you this exchange. If no conditions were inflicted, you get empowered. Okay. All right, so describe that. What do you do? So instead, you just assume a defensive stance. Yeah. All right. Um, one of the NPCs is going to. Do the NPCs have the same kind of moves? Let me check. Where's my NPC stuff? I think they do the same kind of stuff. Uh, NPCs. Yes. So you guys are in. You're like probably at the pro bending field. No, that wouldn't work because that's got water. You're in some sort of arena. There's bleachers. Yeah, yeah. Um, and that's where y'all are going up. There's a raised platform in the center. Um, there there is like water underneath the platform, but you can walk up to the stage because the platform is where you do your bending stuff. But you can walk up to the stage, and that's all land. So like underneath, basically under the platform, there's like a pool. Um, and then around you there is the stadium itself. The arena does not the discs that they use in the pro bending matches is not currently set up, but the ground is earth. Um, and then there's the bleachers around, and people running and screaming and freaking out and stuff. Um, and then there are no Yes, basically. It's not like the size of a football field. The platform itself is probably the size of like a basketball court, and then there's a field around it. I'll say like a field of grass around it. Probably maybe not the full size of a football field because that would be huge around this small basketball court, but um, maybe twice the size of the basketball court. Yeah. So they're running across the court towards the stage. They came from like around the bleachers. 10 feet raised. Yeah. And then there's some stairs leading up to it. Yeah, yeah. Um, One of the NPCs, he's gonna do a uh the guy runs up to, I guess he'll do seize a position. He moves to a new location, um, and I guess he's gonna jump up on the stage, um, and raise an earth bridge, so that they have a more direct route onto the stage versus um, having to go around to where the stairs are on the sides. So he jumps on the stage and raises an earth staircase, leading from the center up to the center stage, right next to where the Avatar would have been standing if she hadn't been blown back aside. She's off to the side of the arena now. Hasn't gotten up yet. I guess I should include the Avatar in here. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So you do it with your bending. Yes. The bending, except for the special techniques, bending is more of a tool. It's more of a like all of your fighting is done with your bending, and it's more just a descriptor of how you do stuff. And then occasionally you can also, it's more flavor, except for when you're doing something very specifically, like only a bender could do this. But yeah. Um, okay, so dude jumps up on stage and then creates an earth uh, bridge up to the stage. And that's his turn. The next people who go are all those who want to advance an attack. So that would be you, Frank. Do you want to wait until the NPCs all go? Okay. Um, so the two of the men run up on stage. They are yeah, they run up this earth staircase that the dude created for them, and both jump. One of them launches a bolt of lightning towards the Avatar. Uh, he is going to, I guess not a bolt of lightning. He just throws a fireball at the Avatar. He's going to attempt to strike her. So strike a foe in reach, and yeah, she didn't do anything. Okay, so strike a foe in reach, forcing them to mark 2 fatigue, a condition, or shift their balance away from center, their choice. Um, he's actually going to try to hammer her. So he's going to mark a fatigue himself to deal extra damage to the Avatar, uh, forcing her to mark 2 fatigue instead of 1. So he marks 2 of her fatigue. So you all have, um, it's on your character sheet. Yeah, you should have like 5. Yeah, 5 fatigue and also 5 conditions. Oh, and your balances need to be at the center right now. I'm marking that for everyone real quick. Okay. Um, and then the other one, growth. Nothing should be marked under growth right now. Yeah. Well, you haven't grown yet. I don't really know what that was supposed to mean. Oh, three of them are attacking. Uh, Another one is going to. So one guy throws a fireball at her. Another guy jumps up, and I guess they're all going to basically just attack because they're obviously they're trying to kill the avatar. One of them jumps up. It's a waterbender and throws a shard of ice at her. Um, and same deal. He's going to try to kill the crap out of her. Um, so he's going to hurt himself to hurt her. And then the third guy will use the uh, he's going to use pressure, impress or intimidate a foe. Choose an approach your foe cannot choose that approach the next exchange, and he's going to not allow her to evade and observe the next exchange. She can do it this time. Um, so basically, she can't try to get away from him. Uh, Next up, that's and now it's Frank. So all three. So one dude so far, one guy has jumped up and created an earth staircase right up to where Zeki and the Avatar are, and then three guys ran up behind him, throwing. Um, One person threw a fireball, another person threw an ice shard, and then the last guy. How would he actually impress or intimidate a foe? The last guy starts crackling with electricity in an intimidating manner. Yes. There's no plus or minus for this roll. So 8 mixed success. You can use uh, you can choose. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Uh, so mark 1 fatigue to destroy or destabilize something in the environment, possibly inflicting or overcoming a fictionally appropriate positive or negative status effect. So yeah, so you can do that. Describe how you do that. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Um, all right. Yeah. So to fall towards where they're advancing from. Okay. Uh, that works. Um, yeah, because the move just works. So you smash the supports and start to make it fall, and I think that will. So what I'm gonna say though is everybody on stage is now impaired for this turn. They are slowed or off balance. Mark 1 fatigue or take -2 to all physical actions. So that includes you, Hayden. You can mark 1 fatigue or take -2 to all physical actions, and then you'll choose one fewer techniques if you're an NPC. Uh, Either mark 1 fatigue or take -2 to all physical actions. Um, What did you do? Okay. Uh, yeah, so Meko smashes the supports on one side to cause it to knock everyone off balance. Um, and and then yes. And then yeah. And then last is evade and observe, which Bill, you did that. So first roll the stance move. All right. Full success. So you get to choose on a 10 plus, you can either mark one fatigue to use a learned technique, use one practice technique, or use two basic or mastered techniques. Yes. It's starting. Yeah, it's falling. You only smashed one side, right? To make it fall in that direction. Right. Yes. Yeah. And these are the evade and observe ones. Yeah, it's basically the Avatar Zeki and three um, attacking NPCs. The one who created the Earth staircase is on the ground, not on the platform. There is, yes. There's one other NPC who hasn't acted yet because he's also doing evade and observe. And then, of course, the Avatar. All right. Um, no, you don't actually have to. I think all that rolling is going to do is show the description over there. Yeah. Um, it just works because you already did the stance roll. Uh, so okay. All right, I'm just seeing if this guy would have something that would counter that because he's also doing evade and observe. Um, and I just want to see if he's got a technique that would somehow. Uh, that has to be done. Yeah. Okay, yeah, he wouldn't have anything that would prevent that, so he's also impaired. So they're both impaired, which means on the next. Yeah, well, they're both impaired, so is that what that's what it said, right? Impaired. Your target is impaired and unable to choose, defend, and maneuver the next exchange. So they're both not only impaired, but also can't choose, defend, and maneuver. Okay. Um, mark one fatigue or take -2 to all physical actions. I think this guy will simply mark one fatigue. This guy will take the -2. Okay. Um, yeah, so you knock those two people off balance, throwing some dirt at them, causing them to lose their footing. Um, the the guy who hasn't acted yet, he's going to go ahead and act now. Um, and he, seeing what you have done, um, I'm just reading things that he can do because. All right. Would he do this to you? You just attacked him, but they're after the Avatar. He's got four guys attacking, or four other dudes. He's going to try and take out this distraction. The guy, when you throw that at him, he gets knocked off his feet, but then gracefully uh, stands back up, um, and waves his hands in a spinning motion, and you feel the air around you begin to. This is your character, Bill. Beilong, you feel the air around you start to swirl, and a vortex appears around you, and you become both impaired and stunned. But he uses a lot of energy to do this. He's trying to take you out. So impaired, you are slowed or off balance. Um, mark one fatigue or take -2 to all physical actions. So decide that first. -1 or mark one fatigue or -2 to all physical actions. And then stunned, you're caught off guard. You can't act or respond for a few seconds until you steady yourself. Which I think that is possibly the. Let me do a control F and search for steady yourself real quick, because there's no specific definition of what, if that's a move, steady. It might just mean one round. Okay, find the words steady yourself. That can't be that hard. You are bringing up words that are not. It's bringing up the word story. That's not at all what I was looking for. Oh, yeah, this is terrible. None of these words it's showing me are steady yourself. Let me just do steady. Yes, I want exact matches. I don't want story. Okay, so there's the stun descriptor. Stunned is the status for when you get the wind knocked out or your head. Stun leaves the character functionally helpless. It never lasts for very long, but it's always long enough. A stunned character isn't able to respond, which means there's no uncertainty when the enemy acts. The GM just says what happens. Usually stunned is inflicted by special techniques. Yeah, so it'll basically just last a round. So next turn you won't be able to do anything because of this wind stuff. And also once he stops doing the wind at you, your impaired will go away as well, which is like, I guess you, if he continues doing the wind at you, your impaired will stay, but you would no longer be stunned. Uh, okay, but we'll see what happens next turn. And finally, the Avatar, she's gonna jump to her feet, uh, and she picked evade and observe also. So I guess what she's gonna do, she's gonna use. Oh, she needs. No, wait, she's an NPC. NPCs can. How many does she get to do? She's an advanced NPC, so she gets to do more than one technique. Um, where is the amount she gets to do? This is what happens when you don't fully know how to play the game. Okay. Um, yeah, as a legendary NPC, I think she gets to do three things, but she's evade and observing. Um, oh, hey, anytime you evade and observe, this wouldn't have helped you this round, Bill, but you also clear one fatigue. Um, you didn't have any damage yet, but the Avatar does, so she takes away one of her damage. Clear one fatigue. Okay, and then she she will first do bolster or hinder, and she's going to bolster uh, her ally, which will be Zeki on stage. How is she going to do that? um, I'm gonna say she you're because of this shifting platform and stuff, you're like you're starting to lose your balance, and she like shoots some ice under your feet, or some wind under your feet to help steady yourself for a second, and um you can remove the impaired that you got from being on the platform, so you're no longer impaired. uh for herself, she unfortunately can't unimpair herself. What does impaired do to NPCs again? Choose one fewer technique. Okay, so she'll only do two things. And then um man, I can basically pick with the avatar. I can pick any of these moves. Um, she will. Let's go with. I don't know. Let's find a water bending because she's a natural water bender. Um, and then she'll use slip over the ice. Frank's move. Um, you can use it to slip around your environment with ease, putting foes off balance. Clear one fatigue in addition to clearing. Okay, and reposition foes within reach, deciding who is engaged with whom unless they are willing to mark one fatigue and become impaired. Well, she's going to leave them engaged with her, but I think what she's going to do, because the platform is tilted, she's going to um, shoot some ice underneath their feet and cause them to slide into the water. So she throws some ice at them, that they start sliding backwards into the water, and that's which three guys? It was three guys on the platform. Um, and two of them were firebenders. The two of them, so they are now going to be. They're not doomed from that. They're going to be stunned. I'll say they're all stunned from getting knocked into the water. So they won't even get to act on the next turn. Same as the waterbender. No, they weren't expecting to be thrown off the platform into the water. How many foes does she get to move around? It doesn't even say how many foes. I guess you can move however the hell many you want. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're within reach of her water bending for sure. Yeah, so she slicks the ground underneath them and knocks. I'm gonna say she knocks two of them, but then the waterbender will do the thing where he can mark one fatigue to remain where he is. So he stops himself from sliding in the ice and is just simply impaired instead of stunned. Okay. So now we are technically at the end of the exchange. I think that this is where combat pauses for a brief moment, and possibly people will do, that this is where that everyone's done a quick like scuffle, and now possibly they may not immediately go right back into the fight. I will say the five NPCs intend to keep attacking, but if y'all want to like throw some one-liners out real quick or something like that. um, Oh yeah, you're in a little tornado right now. Um, uh, the Avatar, she's like, um, uh, she I guess is gonna yell over to the the young man on the stage and be like, get out of here, I'll handle this. You can respond, yeah. um, you can throw in a one-liner, yeah, yeah. Nobody gets it. Nobody in this world understands. Probably not. Uh, yeah. We go into the next exchange. Decide what approach you're going to take. The defend, advance, evade approach, while I decide for the NPCs. Do what? You didn't? What do you mean you didn't do it? Yeah, you did a technique, didn't you? You had a Yeah, so you did something. Yeah. Now we're into the new round and you're gonna roll those again and stuff. No, you didn't do the wall fire. Yeah, because mixed success doesn't let you do the learned moves. These guys are gonna need to get. Oh, they're stunned, so they can do nothing. Water guy is going to. What are water bending moves? He's a water guy. I can give him one water bending move. Yeah, he's gonna have that. That one sounds fun. Okay, I know what water bending guy will do. Um, Earthbending guy is impaired, but he can do something, so he will. Let's give him an earthbending move. This will go much faster, once we know how to do all this. Yeah, yeah, because it's a whole new system here. uh, he'll do that. He's stunned. This guy is impaired, so he will do. Uh, he is an airbender. Let's see. I gave him Vortex. He gets one more, so let's find an airbending move. That is fun. Okay. Oh, and then I have to select the avatar. Keep forgetting the avatar is a thing that exists. Um, nope, nobody's gotten any conditions yet. That's a status. Conditions are different. Actually, the avatar can basically do anything, so I won't actually write down her techniques. Okay, I have what my guys are going to do. Has everyone chosen their um, category? So if you have chosen your basic, the defend, advance, or evade, announce that now. You're evading, Frank. What'd you say, Hayden? Okay, and then Bill, you're stunned. Okay. Yep. So yeah. So anyone who's defending a maneuvering goes first, which is none of the NPCs. Wait, no, Waterbender is doing it. That's right. The Waterbender, he is going to use his Ice Gauntlet, which um, basically sheathes his hand in ice, I think. Um, Ice Gauntlet. Cover your hand with a sheath of ice. Become prepared when you next make an attack. Inflict an additional fatigue. So he uses Ice Gauntlet, and his hand is covered in ice and ready to punch the avatar out. And I guess that's all he does. That's the only defender. Next are the advanced attackers. So players can go first. So that'd be you, Hayden. So first you have to do the move, the whatchamacallit thing, the stance move, the stance move. There we go. Oh no, that's a failure. On a miss, on a miss, you stumble, but you can shift your balance away from center to use one basic technique. So your balance is your inner struggle between, for your character, Hayden, self-reliance or trust. So you can shift your balance away from the center um, to use a technique to go ahead and do an attack. Your center on this little thingy here, your center, you don't move around unless it permanently moves, but your balance fluctuates back and forth. So you can shift your balance to use a technique. Does it say where I would just read that? Um, to use a basic technique. So you were going to use strike anyway. So now you can do the strike, which it's got to be a basic technique. So yeah, it's strike, pressure, or smash. Strike. All right, so strike a foe in reach, forcing them to mark 2 fatigue. Which one do you want to strike? The waterbender is the only one on stage with you, but with bending you can also throw lightning at the um, 2 firebenders in the water. Or I mean, you can throw a fireball at anyone you want. They're all within reach. Um, uh, it would have to be, I guess, fire in this case because it's a basic technique. But um, yeah, you can attack whoever you want. So, okay. Um, Mark 2 fatigue. You can force them to mark 2 fatigue, mark a condition, or shift their balance away from center, their choice. Uh, or you can mark a fatigue and force, and you get to choose what they do, I guess. So either you can let me choose, or you can take a damage to choose what kind of damage they get. All right, I'm going to choose a condition, and I'm going to choose this guy is going to be, where are the conditions? He is going to become, where the hell are the conditions? On my cheat sheet here. Well, I'll just look at your sheet. He's going to become um, only angry or afraid would make sense. He'll become afraid. So I'll mark his condition. He's now afraid. He gets -2 to intimidate and call someone out. All right, so he's afraid. He's a coward. You just smacked him with a fireball, um, and he's afraid. Ah! Okay. Is anyone else advancing and attacking? Uh, this guy. That's right. I forgot to write down the. Yeah, this guy was attacking, and the avatar is attacking. So we'll do the NPC, the Airbender, the one that's been messing with Bill. Um, Bill, you'll still be stunned for this round, but he stops swirling the air around you, and you flop to the ground, stunned until the next turn. Um, but and also your impaired will go away next round as well because he's no longer airbending you. And he turns to the avatar. He leaps into the air. What was his? Leaps into the air and lands on stage in front of her, and uses his one of his techniques. He'll use breath of wind. Exhale mightily through pursed lips, knock down a single target, and inflict stun on them, unless they choose to mark 4 fatigue. So he blasts the avatar, and she's definitely going to mark 4 fatigue because she's a legendary NPC and has fatigue to spare, so that she's not stunned next round. Um, but this guy is a major NPC, and he gets to do 2 things. Um, so then he's I guess he's just gonna strike. So he blasts at her with air, and she like causes the water, the wet ground around her to freeze her feet in place so she doesn't get pushed back. But then he throws 2 more balls of air at her, and is going to um, inflict a condition upon her. Uh, she's now getting angry. And then the avatar, now that she's angry, what does angry do? Let me double check. When you are angry, got to look at one of y'all's character sheets. -2 to comfort and support. Okay. So just like in the superhero one, if all your conditions are marked, that's bad. I think, let me double check how you basically lose the fight. I think you're taken out when all your conditions and your fatigue are marked. Just got to find the specific rule on taken out because my GM sheet doesn't tell me what happens. Oh, page 101. Yay, something that referenced what I was looking for. 101. If you've marked all 5 fatigue, then anytime you have to mark fatigue, you mark a condition instead. And also, if a move requires you to mark fatigue, you simply can't do the move. Um, if you, where's taken out? If you've already marked all 5 conditions and you must mark another, you're taken out. That's taken out by conditions, whereas taken out by fatigue. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you are taken out if you have to mark all five conditions. The take marking all five fatigue doesn't take you out, but if you have all five fatigue marked and you would for some reason have to mark more fatigue, you start marking conditions. So basically, you can be taken out early if there are attacks that directly affect your conditions, but otherwise you have to get all your conditions marked to be taken out. Um, anyway, we'll come to that if it comes up. For now, um, I forgot what I'm doing. The Avatar's fighting. That's right. And the Avatar last turn got rid of her impaired, so she can do all three of her attacks. Um, and she was attacking this round, so she's going to launch an attack at the windy dude who just attacked. No, she's just gonna throw. She's gonna throw a fireball at the waterbender that y'all attacked because Mr. Waterbender is now taken out. So she throws a fireball at the waterbender, knocking him off stage, off into the onto the ground, and he lands with a thud and slides to a stop next to um, Beilang, um, who's also on the ground. Uh, she then um, is going to, you know what? She's going to throw. Can Korra use lightning? Did she ever learn that? I don't think Korra can use lightning. I don't think Korra ever learned lightning. Yeah. Well, not she could. She's not going full Avatar state yet. I guess she's gonna strike at the Airbender who's now the only other one on stage. So she throws some fire and water at him, some fire and ice at him, dealing some more damages. And then that's the Avatar's turn. Now we're into anyone who's evading and observing. So there is Frank. You're doing evade and observe. So anytime you do evade and observe, so first you have to roll the stance move, and also you automatically clear one fatigue when you evade and observe. So you clear one fatigue, and then you get to use one basic or mastered technique. Basic or mastered, yes. Basic are the ones up top in that drop down menu. Yeah. Okay. She's definitely. I mean, she's beaten up, but she's got. I mean, yeah, she's beaten up, but definitely not out. She's still looking pretty good, I would say. I think he's the only one of y'all who has taken any damage. Yeah. To heal her a little bit. How much does it heal? Mark fatigue to heal an ally in reach who. Oh, you have to heal someone who's evading and observing. She's in the middle of fighting right now, so she's not evading and observing. I would say though stunned. So the reason because you can't because she's in straight up throwing fire and ice all over the place. You can't get close enough to heal her. Basically, I would say you could get close enough to the stunned people though. So to Bill, um, well, healing that's just what it says. It has to be to someone who is not currently attacking. Basically, someone who's not currently in the throes of combat. You know, it makes sense. It'd be hard to heal someone who's currently in a fist fight, but someone who's because yeah. Well, it requires them to be still like that. That's why it's saying of people who are evading and observing because they're not actively engaged in combat. They're staying on the fringe of combat either through choice or because they have no choice. And so you have time to run over and heal them. That works. You drench him with glowing water. And Bill, fully heal yourself because that thing heals a lot, and I doubt you took that much damage. Uh, in fact, I'll say you're healed to the point that I'll let you take an evade and observe action this round if you want. Yeah. So you're invigorated enough to take an evade and observe action. Yeah, because we're in the evade and observe phase. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Yeah. So the waterbender is currently out that they're beaten. The two firebenders are actually in the water. The earthbender is he's the one of the ones you used your eat dirt thing on, so he's you know impaired currently. Um, and then the airbender is up on stage fighting the avatar and Zeki. No, it's just one of the evade and observes. Okay. Oh, well. I guess you can't. Yeah. Unless you mark you can shift your balance away from center to use one basic technique if you choose, but you wouldn't be able to use eat dirt. Yeah. Well, no, you also have well, no, you've got the three things up top too under evade and observes the test balance, bolster or hinder, and commit. And whoever's the successor has break. Oh, the successor is Jaden. So you could do bolster or hinder, which is more or less what you're trying to do with eat dirt, just not quite as powerful. How are you hindering him? While he's in the water? Okay, then I'm gonna say he is now. Well, that's my question. Well, what the way you described it, you would hold him in place. His head was above water. So rather than doomed, I'm gonna say he's only trapped. Um, but that means he's completely helpless next turn unless he marks three condition or three fatigue on his next turn. So he is currently trapped in the water, but his head is above water. Yeah. So this firebender, he can't even do that for the purposes I think. Wait, can he? You're trapped. You're completely helpless. You must. I think when you're trapped, you can still, if you can. Yeah, I think he can do ranged attacks, but he just can't move. Where is trapped? The more detailed description on trapped. Um, statuses. I do not know why this gives me an option to not look for something other than exact matches. I'm like, why would I want to look for similar words? Why are you so stupid now, Adobe? Um, trapped. It's for when you're encased in ice or can't move because blah blah blah. It represents mobility and if every combatant on one side of the fight is trapped, the fight's over. To be able to free yourself from being trapped, you must mark the stuff. You must also take appropriate action to free yourself if you can. Yeah, basically, yeah, you have to waste. Well, most of the time, it doesn't say he couldn't attack. He could ignore being trapped and still attack if that's what I decide to make him do. All right, yeah, so he's trapped right now, in the water. I haven't checked Discord in a while. Does Craig still exist? Craig still exists. Good. Um, not that this will be the most exciting because we're figuring out rules. Uh, so that guy's trapped. Um, and for all points and purposes, he's basically out of the fight. Because if he gets himself free, he falls unconscious, and then he would die in the water. So that was Bill, and then I think that's none of the NPCs. Oh, the Earthbender is evading and observing. The Earthbender clears one fatigue because he picked that. He is going to. Um, I could just free. You know what? This is what would happen in Avatar. Yeah, the Earthbender um, sees what you do. Wait, he uses one fewer techniques, I think, as an NPC. Impaired. Never mind. The Earthbender, because he's impaired this round, because of your Eat Dirt, he can't do anything. So he's basically stunned because he only gets one technique. So yeah, the Earthbender gets up and recovers himself, but doesn't get to do anything this round. Back at the top of the round again, the Avatar shouts, "Stand down! You're obviously losing this fight." And 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 then of course when she says that, that's when you hear a rumbling and and just a whole bunch more people come running into the arena, and some of them in the armored suits that the armored, not the giant robot, but the small, the mech suits that they wear, um, come storming into the arena and take aim at the Avatar. And now you can choose to continue to fight. You can choose to not continue to fight. Whatever you want to do. The Avatar um, go. She starts doing the whole rise into the air, getting ready to go into the avatar state type thing. Eyes are starting to glow, and now we choose your combat approach. I'm going to be doing so much erasing, and this eraser sucks butt. I'll need to create myself a digital GM sheet that I can track initiative. Well, this game's version of initiative with. Um, oh, Waterbender is dead. Bye bye, Waterbender. Firebender, where's the trapped one? He is basically out of the match for now. Because if he frees himself, he dies. Uh, Earthbender. Honestly, I think now is the point where we would go into more of a cinema mode. So the avatar starts, yeah, because now I've got just tons and tons of combatants. The avatar rises into the air. All of these extra, we're probably like 5 mech suits and maybe another 10 people. Some of them with like swords and some more benders all run into the arena. What do you guys do when you see this happen? The mech suits are now opening fire with I guess bullets. I don't remember what the small mech suits did. Um, shooting at the avatar, uh, and it's turning into they shoot what? Yeah, they're basically shooting bullets at the avatar at this point. Um, it's in the future. They've surely created with the help of metal bending. They've created bullets. Um, and they're launching metal projectiles at the avatar, and she's launching them back, and there's fire and ice and earth and air blasting all over the place. What are you guys? What are y'all doing while all this is going on? Are you continuing to fight? We're just in cinematic mode now. So each of you take a turn to describe how you're fighting someone or running away or whatever it is you're doing. Oh, Hayden's in the bathroom. Hayden, describe last. Okay. So one of them's already trapped. What are you doing to the other one? He's trying to break the rocks and like he's trying to throw fire, but it keeps going out from the water. All right. You can just kind of right now we're just in free mode, so just describe what we're doing. We're just in cinematic mode right now. Obviously, you don't get to wipe out the entire invaders, but yeah. Yeah, the firebender, he throws up a useless gout of flame to try and stop it, and obviously the giant earth, the boulder passes right through the fire and smashes down on him, taking him out of the fight. Frank, what's whatever the heck your guy's name is? I don't remember. Meko, what's Meko up to in cinematic mode? All right. So Meko is just straight up drowning people. Um, that's one of the worst ways to die. Hayden is Hayden still gone? And Hayden Hayden's character is just combustion bending at people, blasting them with his mind. And then the Avatar rises into the air, but a boulder smacks her and knocks her to the ground. She didn't see it coming; it came from behind, and her she flashes out of the Avatar state. Um, Lightning shoots at her and connects, and you see her eyes flash again for a moment, but she's too weak. Bullets are flying, um, and despite all of your valiant efforts, the Avatar is getting swarmed with more and more benders, and you guys are taking people out, and she's still taking people out left and right, but there's just too many. And then finally, um, a metal bender. No, we'll say that earthbender she was fighting before. Uh, Hold on, let me look up somebody's name real quick. And the airbender approaches Cora, who's now on her knees as she's being just her hands and feet are pinned to the ground with earth. Um, and the airbender walks forward, and a bubble of air um, appears around her head and starts swirling and swirling. And he says, "This is for my father." Uh, and she obviously can't reply. And she says, uh, "Zahir is avenged." And then the air comes out of her lungs, and Korra, the Avatar, slumps, falls to the ground, and literally has no air left in her to breathe. So she's dead. The Avatar dies, and then yeah, he could have stopped this. The Avatar dies, and the scene fades to black. Um, and then we open. It's probably several weeks later. I guess Hayden missed the finale, but several weeks later we open, and you guys, including Zeki, and for some reason the janitor, which you guys, he's cool. He probably like slips y'all like drugs or something at lunch. But the janitor's there. Yeah, the janitor's there. As your you do find it odd that the janitor would be your chaperone on this trip, but the janitor's there. He's your chaperone for this college tour of the Four Nations. It's still The world is still mourning over the loss of the Avatar, but life must go on, and you guys were scheduled to go on this trip, and so the trip is still happening. Just because the Avatar dies doesn't mean the world all stops. Eventually they'll find the next Avatar and all that good stuff, and right now, li- life goes on. Any parting thoughts? Yes, yes, yes. The next Avatar is immediately born, and so that's how they can that's one of the things they use to look for the Avatar. People who are born on the same day as the Avatar, died. Um, they yes. So there's an Avatar baby that just popped out somewhere in the Earth Kingdom. Yeah, and I guess if you want to give a closing thoughts as your character, a closing scene for each of us as your character is getting ready to um, board the what will we be traveling in? I guess we're in the Earth Kingdom. We're in the Earth Kingdom right now, because Republic City is based. So you'll be boarding train right now, probably heading on the train for Bossing Say or something. So hopefully, yeah. So Belong, what do you want your little closing bit? You don't even have to necessarily do the train scene. That's just where we've shifted to. It's a mhm. Um, uh, Meko, what is your closing bit? He wears a cape. Excellent, excellent. Yes. And then Hayden just, I mean, I just typed it, but Avatar got killed, in front of y'all. Um, Basically, I think all this happened after you went to the bathroom, but more and more fighters poured into the arena, and the Avatar got airbended the air out of her lungs and was killed. And it's now a couple weeks later. The world is still in mourning, but life goes on, and you guys have a college trip planned, and this is just our closing scenes for each character. Um, yeah, and we're at the train station, so feel free to give a parting thought for your character too. Is he still? Is he here? Okay. Yeah. I mean, in this, yeah, in this scene, y'all are at the train station waiting to board. and and we zoom in on Beilong's face, and the camera fades as a tear appears in his eye, and then it goes to black. Um, and that's the end of episode one, the death of Korra. Um, so at the end of a session, before everyone leaves, we have to answer the growth questions. So at the end of each session, each player answers the following questions. Question number one: did you learn something challenging, exciting, or complicated about the world? Frank says no. So those of you who said yes, what do you think you learned? You you being you being the best is just not always enough. Yeah. Um, so for each yes, mark one growth. So you can mark on the growth, the four boxes there, mark one. And Bill, how did you learn something? Yeah. And then Frank, do you still want so go ahead and mark a growth. And then Frank, do you still want to say no, or did Meko learn anything? If if that's what you want him to learn, then that's fine. Okay. Did you stop a dangerous threat or solve a community problem? The answer, I'm gonna say that's no. No, yeah. Um, did you? Yeah, but you didn't stop the dangerous threat. Did you did you guide a companion? Did you guide a companion towards balance or end the session at your center? Nobody guided their companions, but anyone who I think one of you shifted your balance. Yeah, so you don't get to mark growth because you're not at center, but um, Frank and Bill can mark growth for that. And then each of you have a special question. So Beilong, your question is at the end of each game session, answer the following question. Oh, that's all the questions. And then your special question: did you make significant progress toward or against your adversary? No, you didn't. Zeki, yours is yeah. Zeki, did you can do that if you want. So to change your adversary to this dude, this unknown man, which just I guess put him man who killed Korra. Um, Changing your adversary, you can change it when you mark a condition or at the end of each session. When you do, choose an appropriate goal, and the GM shifts your balance twice to match your new adversary and your new goal. Um, what is your balance? So this you did end your session at balance, so this wouldn't. Um, so what is your goal for this new adversary? Capture him, and then just for so I will say that is going to be I'm going to shift you towards force because you'll have to I don't think care or force. I think that would be force. Um, and then Hayden, your question is: did you pursue a desire or goal of your own outside of protecting others? I don't think you did that this time. You don't always get to mark growth uh, from these questions. And then Frank's was, did you improve the lives of a community or average citizen? So no. So nobody got their special question. But also this was a short session and all we did was fight. Um, and so yeah, once you've marked for growth, you get to spend growth. Um, but and some of those other questions will probably get yes answers when we do a uh, the next session. When we're not just straight up only doing combat. uh, but yeah, anyway, so that is how you do combat in the Avatar game. Um, I guess we will sign out real quick. So um, I don't know how exciting this will be to listen to because we're figuring stuff out, but hopefully you enjoyed it enough to come back. I am Ron, the dungeon master, the spirit guide. That's what I call myself. I'm Ron, your spirit guide for this evening. And next, Bill. He did do the best. And speaking of Frank. Oh, yeah, go ahead. And Hayden. Yeah, yeah. And this was session one of Avatar Legends, which we'll need to come up with an actual name for this campaign because Avatar Legends is just the name of the game we're playing. But it needs to be like Avatar, the legend of something, to model it from the show. Avatar, the legend of integrated dice management. Oh yeah, and so we could call this Avatar, um, between Avatar. Yeah, I don't know. we'll we'll troubleshoot this. Um, well, because we don't know if the whole campaign is going to be spent figuring out who killed Korra or whatever. That like y'all may never even look into that. Y'all are just teenagers. Yes. Okay. That's that. Yeah. By the way, you're a water bender, which means you're also a urine bender. So yes, actually, they've done that in Avatar, not out of urine, but they did it out of dirty water. Yes, definitely, you certainly can. Yep. An earthbender, Bill, you can help because you can get the salt out of there. If I remember right, there you go. If I remember right, in the show, I think Toph and Katara together um, purify water. But I don't see, but waterbenders can turn water into mist or into steam or mist, yeah, which would then purify it, and then they can turn it back into, yeah. So they can make distilled. A waterbender can just straight up make distilled water. Yeah, that's true. You couldn't do that, but then you get the firebender to boil it, you know. Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I don't know if they can make it boil. I don't know if they can make it hot. Can they make actual steam or can they turn it into mist? That's right, they can freeze, so I don't see why they couldn't heat it as well. Can waterbenders heat water? Some earthbenders can heat stone enough to melt it, so waterbenders must be able to heat the water. Yeah, because I know they can definitely bend steam because they do that in Korra, but she didn't make the steam. She bent the steam from the pipes. But there's no reason that if yeah, this if a waterbender can freeze water, they should be able to heat it as well. And then if an earthbender can turn earth into lava, heat it up, then they should be able to. Then a waterbender should also be able to heat water. That's true. The only thing in Korra, she does bend steam, but that's steam from pipes, so it was already steam. But they do but they do have the ability to turn, and they do also show them turn water into fog. Yeah. So maybe they can't heat water to boiling, but they can. Yeah, so I don't think you could make steam. I mean, you could potentially you could heat the water. What I would say is, obviously it would require a roll, of course, but you know, especially like if the firebend, if Frank, you were playing the prodigy, I'd say, yeah, you could probably agitate the water to the point where it would become hot enough to start boiling. Um, but it probably, yeah, it would probably be one of those things where I'd make you create a custom technique, and by the time you're mastered, then you could create steam. Because yeah, you could say a waterbender could agitate the water and cause it to boil. Um, but it would be a very challenging technique to, so you'd have to master it, before you could use it reliably. Oh yeah, I mean, there's far easier ways to horribly murder someone with waterbending. Yeah, yeah. And so in one of the Avatar books, there is a waterbender who she specifically as a healer, but she has the ability to, well, she will cool people's blood to slow their heartbeat and reduce fever and stuff like that. Um, and she doesn't call it blood bending, and she doesn't need a full moon to do it. She's just cooling the water in their body. Whereas blood bending is specifically bending in such a way that you are it the reason blood bending is so hard is because it's not just water bending, it's a very fine control over the water bending because you're moving them in certain ways and stuff like that, instead of just sucking the water out of them, which I think a waterbender could do that easier than they could blood bend, because blood bending is moving the water within them without actually damaging them. Whereas if you just pulled the water straight out, or yeah, if you just pulled the water out, or you froze the water in them, that's different than blood bending, I think. It's borderline and would still be frowned upon, I'm sure, but anyway, Craig, bye. All right. Well, a Jaden who's capable of staying awake, at least for the beginning of the session. Jaden's gotten older too. All right, bye.